Alright, YouTube, so the last story took place at Ryan's house. And this story will too. Um, the last time was a time when I was about. We were both 14, but we're going to rewind quite a few years back. I believe this was 2006. Um, this would have been Ryan's ninth birthday. And up until Ryan was probably 16, he would have these pretty big birthday parties. And it was always fun because I think these were probably, I don't know if this is sad or I was a smart kid, but these were probably the biggest parties I've ever attended. I think sometimes they got up to like 13, 14, 15 kids. But the ninth one was probably the funniest because this is probably not going to be a long story, but it is still pretty funny. It was Ryan's ninth birthday. I remember that birthday distinctively because we had a picture taken, and it's me behind Ryan, and he's holding the gift that I gave him. Like I said, Ryan's practically the son de facto of this family, and I would imagine I am in that family. I mean, we're like brothers once again, but there's like a frame with that picture in it in this house somewhere. It's in the living room, probably. But we used to go. We grew up with a kid named Quentin. We were in Cub Scouts with this guy. This guy was the definition of the socially awkward homeschool child. Quentin was homeschooled. He had these weird vegan parents. He can't have candy. He can't have gluten. Blah blah. I remember getting like snickerdoodles from them, and they were like vegan snickerdoodles or something, and they tasted like shit. I'm not gonna mince words. It was awful. But he's the type of friend, and I don't know if anybody else has this type of friend, but he doesn't really. You might have that friend that doesn't know the outside world at all, and you're kind of the one who is in an odd way, you're taking them under your wing, and you're kind of showing them what the outside world looks like. But Quentin was socially awkward. He wet the bed. He did all sorts of weird things. He was pasty white. He was ghoulish looking. He had anger problems. You could tell this kid just wasn't a social guy. But that birthday was special because Ryan's gift from Quentin was a log of shit. And what I mean is, Quentin was always saying that night, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And, he's like, my appendix is gonna burst. Because it was weird because he got the slightest pressure in his gut. He always claimed that his appendix would burst, which never happened. And I checked up on Quentin. He moved like a decade ago. He's somewhere in Arizona, and I guess they opened up like a vegan restaurant or something, and they seem to be doing well, so that's okay. But Quentin just was complaining and bitching. He said something didn't feel right? And he finally loses it. He's like, I'm gonna burst! And we were all in the basement, and I can't remember if Ryan was in the bathroom at the time, or he purposely locked himself in the bathroom so that we could piss off Quentin, but he ran up a flight of stairs and then another flight of stairs because there's an upstairs bathroom as well. And he's in there for well over 25 minutes, and we just start hearing, "Woo! Woo!" And then the door opens slightly. He cracks the door open. Quentin's like, "Guys, I need your help! I need your help!" And I was probably what he would consider one of his best friends at the time. So he was like, "Austin, take this to Ryan's mom." And I shit you not, this kid shit his pants. There is a log of shit, huge log of shit in this kid's whitey tighties. And he's hanging it out like this, and it's just flopping around. And I'm like, I'm not picking that up. And he's like, "Ryan, get your mom." And we're gagging and puking. It's like, "You guys are real mature." And I don't really know what happened. I don't know if, like, they just discarded the underwear. But what I remember happening was Quentin being so embarrassed that he got his mom to drive him home. But there was a good 5 minutes. Like, some of us were laughing, some of us were gagging. I think it was, for me, it was like a mix of both. Ryan was just completely disgusted, like, "How dare this peasant bring shit into my house?" But Quentin's like waving this around. He's like, "Somebody please get this." And I think what initially happened was his mom, Ryan's mom, noticed all this ruckus, and Quentin, the sight of Quentin just holding his dookie-filled underwear outside of the door, and she just ran up there. She's like, "Quentin, what'd you do?" And yeah, Quentin was just so pissed off and mad that he went home that night. And that's really all I remember Quentin doing. He was just a socially awkward dude who had a very short temper. And, you know, I think it was because of his upbringing. I think he started to mellow out in his teen years. It looks like he mellowed out, but I think it was because of his upbringing, the homeschooling, not really having a social life per se outside of Cub Scouts. And what is always weird is his mom, even though she lives like 2 time zones away from us, is somehow the chairwoman of the YMCA in this hometown, even though she hasn't been a resident here for at least a decade. So that always struck me odd too. But that's about it for this life story. That's about it, YouTube. Peace out.